Hello everybody, welcome to another video. This is going to be a really weird one, because I'm an idiot. Oh, why with the recording issues? So, today I recorded about half an hour of Grimrock. I don't know how long this video is ultimately going to be. You know, I was pretty happy with it. We'd made a lot of progress. We got off of the whole floor. I can promise you guys that we'll do that this video. I recorded all this lovely commentary about Pokemon we were discussing, and you know, the various snakes and things that were here in this floor. And then I finished recording as I normally do, and for whatever reason just forgot to save the commentary. Yeah, how stupid is that? God damn it, I forgot. So we're now redoing it, except not, because I also saved over my files. So now what you're doing is listening to me recording this like the commentary after the fact. I'm sat here with this is very British of me, with a scone, with a cup of tea. Yeah, I kind of got into tea recently. I'm not super into it. I still don't like the idea of me being a tea drinking Brit, but I do have some. And I'm just going to re-record this and talk over the footage. So this is going to be really weird. This is like post-commentary. This is me watching. It's like I'm a member of you guys. I'm one of the audience right now. So what are we doing at the moment? Well, last episode we opened up this gate at the end of the burial chambers stuff. And we got to a situation where we had this intimidating door that opened for us. Now, we had to drop off a bunch of really cool high-quality items to get through that door, and this episode we are going to aim to try and recover them. I think right now I'm trying to explain to you guys that we've been to that other room over there on the left, so I'm actually going to mark it and call it the exit. So the room in the middle of these grates is the door that we opened. We're now in this secret area on the right, and at the very beginning of entering this wing, we saw the area on the left. There's a secret button here that unleashes a load of cobras. Oh, this reminds me, some of these guys really scared me. There were some brilliant reactions that I had recorded. We're actually going to get attacked from behind here as well. When you press that secret button, it doesn't just open these two chambers near us. We're going to be fighting in the dark for a little bit here. But it opens a couple of chambers behind us too, or at least, if you remember, we kind of came in here, and if you look at the footage, I didn't really explore this place very thoroughly. So I think there are enemies behind me just sort of wandering around, and I've got my back exposed to the elements, as it were. But yeah, we're going to fight in the dark. I unfortunately get an injury there on Loto Pafo, who breaks one of his hands. Hand injuries are some of the worst injuries you can get in Grimrock, in my opinion. The best injury is definitely the energy recovery one. Those ones are fine. I mean, hell, I wander around with everyone starving most of the time anyway. And so that shows how little I really care about the regeneration. Tickwit does level up, and so we get to put another point in alchemy. You notice this cobra starts attacking us here, though, so we've got to kind of deal with this. Are these cobras? Giant cobras? Obviously, you don't get cobras this big in real life. What you got to consider, guys, is we are a party of 4, and so we're pretty big, and these things are even comparable in size to us. That's how major these things are right now. But yeah, so Tickwit did level up, and every time I try and talk to you guys about the fact that he's leveled up, we keep getting attacked by more and more snakes. These definitely are guys just from deeper in the tunnels. Sanon's out of mana at the moment too, so we just sort of struggle. But putting that extra point into alchemy here does allow us to cast some new potions. I believe after a great deal of faffing around, I'm eventually going to realize that the new potion we can craft is a shield potion. Now, these things are really awesome, but we're not going to craft any just yet. Oh, wait, or was it a speed potion? I think it's a speed potion that I learned that I can craft. Yeah, shield was just level 2. We will be using shield potions, though, at some point on this floor. The pyramid, because I think maybe we were supposed to do the Ruins of Desirune. I have heard of someone doing a series where they do the Ruins of Desirune right at the start. And so if that's possible, then I'm sure we're supposed to go there first. But so that means that some of this difficult stuff we're going to be doing in the pyramid, we'll be using a lot of our bombs and things for. I'll tell you guys, I played off-screen to the end of the pyramid last night. My God, it's insane. I almost wish I could just skip the end of this episode to the end of the... It's amazing! I cannot believe it. I can't wait to show it to you guys. But yeah, so what we can do is we can now craft speed potions. And what's really cool about these is they are Etherweed and Falconskire. And mainly just because there's no blood drop caps there. I think that actually the kind of potion that I'd be happy to make an awful lot of. Now, you don't want to, you know, drop your stores of herbs and stuff completely down. But, you know, I can be pretty happy to do that. They are kind of resource intensive because they cost you 3 to just craft 1. But, you know, we can use a lot of those. I haven't even drank one of those on the series just yet. But they massively drop your cooldowns down, which makes them phenomenal. So here we get a point with Loto Pafo as well, who leveled up from the Snake Bonanza. And I'm looking at Sannon here. I guess I'm talking to you guys about what we want to do with Sannon next, which is go into air magic and sort of just talking about how we're a master of many different elements. But for Lotopatho, I think for now, we're just going to go with critical. Because it's useful to him. He's accurate enough right now, especially with the kind of weapons he's using. Dodge we can start pumping more into once he needs that survivability. But for now, more crit, more damage. It's just what I guess I've ended up going for, just sort of stacking stuff into those lines. So anyway, all of this, what was all of this for? This secret button that just took us into this room? It was for a secret just behind us. Now what we're looking at here is some kind of painting on a wall. And it seems to depict, we'll get another version of this later that gives us more information, but it seems to depict the Zaffi, if indeed those are who built this pyramid, going to the island. And there's these like shockwaves rippling out that seem to be beckoning them into it, right? And you know, it looks a bit like like a mountain, but at the end of the day, aren't all islands a bit like mountain? That's such a dumb thing to say. All right, anyway, what do we get? We get the mirror gauntlets. Now, this is more of the mirror set, and I know we started putting mirror set stuff on Jonker, but he's got the bear claw gauntlets. Those things are amazing. So there's very little chance I'm going to put them on him. The only person without unique gauntlets at the moment, I mean, Tikrit's got the reed staff, Lotopatho's got the rogue stuff, so really Sannon's the only one left. So we'll just put them on Sannon for now, drop the gauntlets down here. I think I'd actually pick those up again, because what we'll do is we'll carry a whole bunch of our stuff. Now, I make a promise to you guys here, that our inventories are gonna get super full. The kind of loot you get here is insane. Here we get a note, before I go on about that says, a gift for Burl the Hedonist, his bloated remains needed 6 vessels, the eternity welcomes him. And these are the mirror gauntlets. So, well, we've got a secret that gives us these gauntlets. But then it's also telling us another note, as if we want to deposit these somewhere like we had to, but we're already in the room, right? So, I spent a long time on my test file wondering about this, wondering where the hell this tomb could be. It seems like it's tied to something else. None of these burial chambers you can see that we've already interacted with have anything to do with this. None of them have 6 different sarcophagi in them. You know, the only one that we didn't use for the puzzle was the one with the secret, right? The little secret button. So this is not something we really know what to do with just now. I even checked on my test file over here in the west wing. All the central areas, there is nothing. There's no place to put these gauntlets. So it's the kind of thing you're just going to want to remember. Now, I ask you guys a question as well. We got this note here, this one from Thalp the Surveyor, who says, is my measuring cord cursed? I go back and forth between the 2 floors. And there seems to be a difference. What's up? Where did we get that? Was that from the bog? And we don't have to worry about it? Because I got so confused on my test file. I was like, damn, was this somewhere in the pyramid? Am I missing some kind of pyramid secret? And ultimately, I don't think that I was. But who knows? So yeah, that's that little chamber there. We get the gauntlets for now, but also try and remember them for later on. And now we can sort of make a little bit more progress, I suppose. I hope you guys are doing good today, by the way. Another day. I can feel myself slipping here. I can feel myself slipping. I told you guys yesterday that I was thinking of maybe getting back into the Pokemon anime. I'm trying. I don't know. I get all of that it's a pretty bad anime, all told. Like, it's not very adult. It's aimed at kids. But there's just enough there that makes me kind of want to watch it, kind of want to get back into it. And I do hear positive things about the newest one. The problem is I've got 10 years worth of the damn anime to catch up on now. I've decided to start at the advanced generation for anyone that cares. So those are the ones that I'm watching. And it's bearable right now. I'm usually doing stuff like reading comments, and I'll just have episodes on in the background. In fact, right now I have an episode on in the background. He's at the GFID gym. Alright, so we travel through those corridors and there was really nothing there. But in this room we'll see that there are 2 open trapdoors, and across the way are 2 pressure pads, which we want to put weight on through the use of our bow. You'll also remember, though, that also, well, first we'll want to climb down here, so let's do this. Tons of mummies in this room. Mummies, I don't know, there's a lot of them in the pyramid. Maybe you guys want to ask yourself this question as well. Now that I've completed the pyramid, I can sort of hint at this a little bit. Where do you think the mummies come from? Like, seriously, like, this is a lot of Zaffi. Surely, you know, these are just people interred here or whatever. But maybe there's a little bit more to it than that. Kind of interesting. Anyway, so we'll kill all of them. I'm usually pretty happy to find mummies at this point in the game because they're so easy to kill, right? Yes, they injured Tikrit there, whatever. But I mean, damn, they give you so much experience. They're nice things to just cleave through. We get an extra 2 arrows down here, bringing our total up to 11. I don't think we've really missed any. There's there's another lovely guy there. You might expect this switch to just let us walk to him, but it doesn't. It opens a different gate in the other room. And we actually have no access to that other room right now because of this teleporter. Now, it may look from the map like everything's connected, but it's not. We're kind of sealed off right now. You got that teleporter there. We can't go anywhere else. So we'll go through that in a second. Here, though, we get a new weapon. Now, I warned you guys about this in a previous episode. I said we'd find a weapon that I'm probably not going to use. And it's this thing here. It's the short bow. And it's cool, but remember that we got the Crookhorn longbow from the vault. Now, if we hadn't got that from the vault, the short bow would be the first new missile weapon we'd got in a long time, and I'd be very keen to use it. But the damage range is much lower. It's, what, 6 to 18 instead of 8 to 24. And the only difference is it's got a slightly shorter cooldown. Like, that's the benefit of the short bow. They both have the special attack skill volley. But we're talking about a difference of 4 seconds to 4.5 seconds in the cooldown. And that's not enough for me. The damage is so low, it's not enough. And I'm not going to use it. And it does pain me to find a weapon in this game, especially one that we're spec'd to use and then ultimately say, no, there's no point. But that's what we're going to end up doing. So anyway, now that we've been down there and explored that little area, we'll fire the next arrow across and close these trapdoors. Now, any smart gamer is immediately going to be thinking, wait, hold on. What about that trapdoor back in the previous room, right? Surely if we've just done something there, we've done something here. So by putting those 2 arrows on the pressure pads and closing the 2 trapdoors apparent to us, it actually opens this one here. This was bizarre. Look at this. Oh my god, I was so shocked by this. The mummies somehow, like, walk on us. I guess the only way that this happens is, usually if you fall down a trapdoor, you'll just crush whoever's under you. But I guess we went down just as the AI decided to walk to where we were stood, but it wasn't quite where we were stood just yet, so then this ultimately ended up happening. Probably a very easy gold key in the game to find here. You just grab it on the floor from climbing down this. Not particularly difficult to find, but there isn't really, as far as I've seen, in the pyramid, a gold slot to use that key in. Which is very interesting, which means when we get to the ruins of Desrune, the next time we find one of these, we may get some really cool gear straight away. So yeah, there is a gold key there. I might be wrong, there might be a gold door in here, but I think I've been pretty good with the secrets. Anyway, so now we're in the other side. Remember when we pulled that lever earlier and opened up a gate? Well, what do you know? This is it. So you got to do it in that order. You got to go down those first 2 trapdoors, pull the lever, then go up, then put the pressure on, then come down. I was so quick to go back on my test file to the initial trapdoor that I sort of had to faff around here quite a lot. But yeah, so you don't get any access because of that teleporter. So yeah, now that we've got this opened up, we can go into an even deeper room. Sort of, we've already had a bit of a payoff here because we found the gold key. Here we'll drink a potion, I guess, make Tikrit feel a bit happier. I don't actually remember doing that. And so we come into this next little chamber here. This one, this is fun. Like, I don't know. I get very nostalgic already about Grimrock 1 enemies. If you think about it in the game, we haven't met many skeletons. There's been a few. There have been a few. But we haven't met many. Particularly they were sort of in the dead man's cave and stuff at the very start, right? Well, in this little chamber here, in this secret inner secret, we'll find a couple more. You would expect, of course, that pushing that button's going to open up that gate. It doesn't. It opens up this little recess here, and at the same time it opens a recess behind us as well. You might have just noticed Sanon took some damage. There is an archer behind us, and we'll blow the poop out of him. And we just generally kill these guys much faster now. I mean, for loot, they're probably some of the worst enemies in the game, because they don't give you anything you can eat. They don't, well, they give you some gear early on, I suppose. And then we'll find 2 of the damn guys right here as well. Pretty easy to kill. I'm noticing like a massive swinging variation, like in the amount of damage we can do at the moment. Like sometimes, like the range on Jonker's hits is immense. I kind of just want to max crit out for him so we get it more consistently, but whatever. Alright, so we come into this room. We get another image. Look at this. And so this now depicts the Zaffi, if they look the same, on the island. And they're worshipping this man in black. And I remember talking to you guys about how, what I find really interesting here is they seem to come to the island and know that he's there, but then he seems to just distance himself from them. You see these like circular waves now, instead of seeming to like beckoning them to the island, instead it's like they're like now sealing him away. And it just builds this guy up so much. We've seen this guy ourselves. You know, when we first saw him, he could have been anyone. He could have just been a random dude we saw wandering around. He could have been just a normal enemy, one of many. And now we sort of realize, wow, this was this mythical dude we've seen just a couple of times. And now he's been out of the picture for so long. Was that the guy that we saw maybe in the entrance to the castle that looked at us and closed the door again? Oh man, well, whatever happened, the Zaffi ended up worshipping him. And, you know, built this whole civilization, this pyramid. He let them do their thing. It's like he brings them to the island. Or he and they. And then they just kind of get left there to do the... I mean, why? What is the story here? Very cool. Again, these images are sort of in many of the little secret rooms here. Add a bit more worth to it. We do get another lockpick here. And again, not many locked chests in the pyramid, so you do come out on a net positive from this area. And we get the Tome of Air. It's another tome. This one's really cool. A stiff breeze blows from within this book once it is opened. The pages flutter around wildly but settle into place once the first rune is read aloud. What an awesome description! Beautiful. I mean, mechanically, this thing gives us shock plus 20. Shock resist, sorry, plus 20. And I arm and R for a little bit about where we should put it, but I think ultimately it'll be nice on Sanon. There is an interesting idea of putting on Loto Patho, because he's already at resist shock 78. So you put it on him, he goes over 100. I don't think that means you're immune to shock damage at that point. That would be ridiculous. But, you know, it would mean if you're taking 100% resist, what is that? Is that half the damage you take? No, 100% resist would be making you immune, wouldn't it? I don't know, maybe that's not a percentage scale there. But the thing is with Sanon, I mean, you might be tempted to put it on Sanon because he's already got quite a lot. But don't forget, we're making him an air mage now. He's going to get even more as a master air mage. Well, I just go YOLO. I go absolutely everything now. So Sanon is getting ridiculous amounts of resist shock in this playthrough. And when we start fighting enemies that, you know, deal shock damage to us, he should stand head and shoulders among the rest. So there you go, that's that secret within a secret again. There was a little potion here. We're largely going to start finding a lot more superior potions. Even Tikrit, by the time we leave the pyramid, will be casting superior potions of his own. So that should be pretty good. Found a torch there. I don't know whether that was something I discarded earlier. But we want to just ramble around for a bit until we manage to get out. So there we go, back up on this floor. We get probably one of the most fun little puzzles I've played in Grimrock so far. It just takes a little bit of intuition. You know, a lot of the puzzles, it's like, okay, I can see what I've got to do pretty easily, and I've just got to, you know, toggle all these various mechanics as much as possible. And this one, it can feel like it's impossible for a second unless you really think about it. So we've got a pressure pad. This is the only thing we can do. Let's drop an arrow on it. Now you'll notice when we drop the arrow on that pressure pad, it opens the gate forward but closes the gate on the far room. It's really well designed the way that they let you see that. Can you see the gate over there? So this arrow is doing two things. It's closing the next chamber but letting us get in it. A bit like an airlock, right? So a really crappy airlock. So now all we want to do is surely just grab this arrow back off, but we can't. It's too far away. So now you see how it seems impossible. How do we can't like push the arrow further on the other side. We can't reclaim it once we get over there. So how is this puzzle possible? We need both of these pressed down so that this trapdoor is up so we can even get an angle there. What's the deal? Maybe you guys can see it? And it's pretty cool. What we're going to do is we're basically going to use like a... Is ballast the right word? We're going to use like a double ballast system. We're going to drop a second arrow on. And this was just one of those fun, quirky little things. I really got stumped for a second. I was like, how does this work? And then went, that's how it's possible. And, you know, you get that really cool, like, big payoff. Now we can reclaim that arrow. Hell, we can reclaim all of the arrows, which we're absolutely going to want to do. I think on my original file, I had actually lost one of these arrows at this point. We've still got all 12 at this moment. And now when we lift this off, we're locked in now, of course, by this gate. But we are allowed in to this next chamber. And this probably would have been a good place for me to have ended the episode. We get the tomb key, it opens the gate on the far side, and what do you know, we have a way out. On the floor here, we get 4 cannonballs. Cannonballs? Now, these are going to be pretty interesting for later, but for now, we're just going to put them on Jonker because they are very heavy. Tikrit's not going to be holding those for the moment. So, yeah, I like the idea that there were cannonballs in this room as well. Like maybe some other adventurers fell in, somehow got trapped, ended up dying in there, and all that was left were their cannonballs. Maybe they tried to blow their way out. That'd be cool. But yeah, so we're now done with this, and we've actually got both tomb keys. Remember, our ultimate goal here has always been to get both keys so that we can do whatever that weird trapdoor puzzle is at the end of the main hallway. So we're going to be dealing with that and getting off this floor. And I make a promise, you guys, that we're going to get off of the floor this episode if it kills me. So we keep going. Now, one thing that's kind of important to point out, though, is now that we've opened another way through, and I mean, technically, we've done everything in this wing of the pyramid. You know those offerings we made last episode to get the door open that we started this episode by traveling through? Well, we can reclaim those, can't we? We don't need to go through that door anymore. We have a second, like, method of getting through the place. So, suddenly things are looking pretty awesome. We can collect the Moonblade again. We can collect the Staff of Fear. And so this is sort of me demonstrating to you guys on the map that we don't need to have these things down here anymore. So let's go check the burial chambers and see what we've got. And oh my god, there's undead everywhere. No. There's, I'm actually surprised that I closed that gate behind me somehow. There's no threats, no enemies for us here. Here I'm just checking what this note was. This was, here lies Tehep the Architect, his companion in his 2 loyal servers. It's the one that just sort of teaches us about how that puzzle worked. So we'll just go reclaim them. Now, this one here, the Staff of Fear. Honestly, I have used a little, but I'm not really sure what enemies are most vulnerable to fear at the moment. I will keep it just because it's really cool. And Shannon can use it every now and then. But I mean, don't blame me too much if I'm forgetting how to friggin' use the damn thing, because I don't know. It's one of those things. If they run away, it can help you sometimes, especially if you're backstabbing a lot. We're not really doing that at the moment. I anticipate the series will get kind of interesting in a second though, when we can cast invisibility on ourselves because of air magic, and when we can get these massive backstabs. Oh, it's going to be really, really interesting. So here we go. We get this new blade, the Moon Blade. So much damage. Unbelievable. And what I'll do is throw away the Poison Dagger as well. We're not really interested in that anymore. I mean, I didn't even really have the concentration to use it, okay? So that damage has buffed us by like maybe 10, which is a pretty significant boost considering our max damage before was only like 24 or something. So that's really fun, and it's got a great special ability on it. You can't really complain about that. So having reclaimed those, we'll move on. And now our goal is going to be to get off of the floor. So this is a really interesting puzzle. Here I just used my rope to climb down. If you remember, this was one of the first places we came. We found a note, and, you know, we kind of just came back up. Now, this puzzle is going to be really interesting. As I explained, we want to get through this room. There are 2 barriers right now. There's a closed door on the far side, and there's all these trap doors. Now, if you notice, the room is structured in such a way that you've got 2 3x3 grids, okay? You've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you go again, okay? And perhaps not by coincidence, if we use these keys and come into these side chambers, you get kind of the same looking area, right? You've got another 3x3 grid of 9 squares, and you've got trapdoors that drop down a lot. So first we'll do what any good explorer will do. We'll explore the trapdoors. Look at the value we're getting out of this rope. It's amazing. I'm so happy we got the rope, guys. It's unbelievable. We get so much out of it. So you'll notice, though, if we come down here, there's not really much in the rooms. There's just a couple of closed sarcophagi, some throwing stars on the floor. You may want junk items like that for this next puzzle, because you're going to have to weigh a lot of pressure pads down. I will say Grimrock's always very good at giving you things to weigh pressure pads down if you don't like hoard items. But here you will also notice in that room, there seems to be a locked gate of some kind. Now, try as you might, you will not find a secret button on any of these walls that allow you to open that gate. I believe, now I haven't done this on my test file, this is like, I swear there's always one secret I miss on my test file, okay? But I'm pretty sure that what we want to do is drop into that from upstairs. Once we go up a floor, we can drop back down, because if you look at the ceiling, there do seem to be holes up there. So we'll deal with that probably next episode, and ultimately we'll get to that chest. Actually, I think I may have got that on my test file. I do remember a couple of chests we ultimately get. But yeah, so that's kind of a little teaser for a secret to come. Let's go back upstairs, get through this gate, and see how this puzzle works. Now, it may seem like it's just a lot of trial and error, and there's nothing very intuitive about this puzzle, but there really is. So when we come in this room, you'll see that you can put pressure on all these pressure pads. Each time you put pressure on one of these pressure pads, it will affect the 3 trap doors like along the row next to it. I have to be very careful about my terminology here. So by weighing all of them down, and ideally we're not going to try and use our arrows for this, we want to keep our ammo. By weighing all of them down, you'll notice you get this very kind of distinct pattern. And that pattern is you're going to have one trapdoor open, then one closed, then one open, then one closed, open, close, open, close, open, close. So you basically get like a plus sign. Here there's a secret button, and I'm not sure what that does. I'm not sure what that does. See, I thought for a second that it would have opened up. This was deliberate falling down here. Not injuring myself wasn't deliberate, but it was deliberate falling down. It was kind of tricky to use the rope in that situation. I thought I might have opened that gate, but it doesn't. And so I'm entirely unsure of what the hell that does. I still don't know. But regardless, it's not got anything to do with the puzzle. We'll have this figured out for next episode. I want to demonstrate to you guys what it looks like when you have pressure on all of them right now. So we're going to start limping around now. And you notice you get kind of this plus shape. And kind of a plus shape. And the first thing any player would probably do is just try and put pressure on all of the pads, right? Just to see what happens. So now that we've done this, this is just sort of me showing you guys the pattern with my cursor. We'll come back through and you'll see that it's been replicated in this room. So we actually now have access to the far side of the hall. How brilliant is that? So look, you see the trapdoors there, on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. But as we come to the end, you'll notice there is this gate and we still don't have access. So it's not quite as simple as all that. you're going to want to be able to press these buttons. By pressing the buttons on the walls, you open the gates on the far side. Sadly, we only have access to 2 buttons right now. Only 2, and if we walk out, now you can't see it over there, but if you walk out, it will close all of the gates once again. So, in one trip, you need to be able to A, walk to the far side of the room, and B, have access to all the buttons. And again, this might seem really annoying, like you just gotta toggle stuff and, you know, just blindly fumble around in the dark. Well, because we know that these 2 rooms there is rhyme to reason to these 2 rooms, we can kind of figure things out. So basically, the first block of 9 squares is the room on the left. So here, see, we've got this plus shape, okay? So the chamber on the left, as we enter it in a second, will affect the first 9, and the chamber on the right will affect the next 9. So what we're going to do is try and mark off where we think we need trapdoors to be closed. Well, we need one where I've already put an exclamation mark to actually get in the room. Now we need one here on the right so we can get access to that button there. And now we need one on the top left as well to get access to that button there. And then, of course, I guess we also need one in the top middle so that we can actually progress into the next grid of 3x3 squares. Does this make sense? So now on my map, I've marked off all the pressure pads I think we need to have closed to be able to get to all the buttons and get through. So we're going to look at this room, oriented this way, facing forward. Any way that this room looks is exactly being replicated in the distant chamber. So right now we've got a bit of a problem where it's not set up properly. Well, this pad seems fine. We actually want weight on this pad because we need to have the trapdoor just to the left of it closed. Otherwise, we simply can't get in the room. If that's in any other configuration, we can't get in the room. And thankfully, the other trapdoor we need closed is also already closed, as you can see here. So that's fine. So now we just need this one here, this one on the back left corner. We need to have some way of having this closed. So if we take weight off of this pressure pad, you guys should see, if we face forward, everything matches up. We've got those 2 pressure pads closed. With that one open, that's fine. And you can see it all lines up pretty much perfectly. And you might be thinking, because I'm doing post-commentary here, this is a little bit harder to follow. Trust me, my original commentary of this did not make things very clear either. But hey, I think sometimes I treat you guys a bit too much like dummies. I'm sure everybody does know what's going on. So everybody's starving, and I sort of take time to give Loto, Pafo, and Sanon some tiny, measly little morsels of food, leaving Tikrit to starve so that Jonker can hoard all of the really high-value foods and consumables. That's just the way this team's going to go. You know, if everyone else has a problem, if Tikrit thinks that it's a bit annoying that Jonker's hoarding all the food, he can try his luck. But Jonker's a lot higher level than him now, and can probably kick his ass. So anyway, there we go. We're done with this chamber. Check it out. We now have access to both buttons we need and the next 3. So now we just got to figure out how to do this. Well, we've already got that button. We just need this pressure pad. That's the only thing that needs to be changed. That trapdoor, sorry. That's the only thing. So let's head back on, and now we'll go into the left chamber and see what we've got. We're going to grab this torch as well, because of course I don't want to be weighing down these pressure pads with arrows all the time. We want the arrows in our inventory. So we're going to try and have some of this fluff. So here we go. Same orientation. That one on the back left is the one we want. So we're going to actually lift this arrow up, and there you go. Now it's closed. Now, is that correct, though? It would seem like maybe it's correct. But we do have a problem. How are we going to walk onto that if the one in the middle is now closed? Do you see that there? See, we can't actually get to the gate. We can get to all the buttons now, but not the gate. So that's not quite the solution that we're looking for. It's something a little bit more subtle than that. Now, one thing you might take for granted and forget about is the fact that there's a pressure pad right at the entrance, right? This one here, even to get in the room, you can forget that those are really a factor. But that's the secret. That's the trick to the final little kink to this large puzzle to get off of the floor. The initial pressure pad you tread on to get into these chambers in the first place, you need to take the weight off of. So we're going to weigh that one back down, which may seem counterintuitive, but that's going to close this trapdoor for us. Now we're going to grab this torch and we're going to use this to weigh it down. We'll lift this arrow up, and that's swapped the one in the back left, okay? If this all makes sense. And as a result, we now have everything clear. Is that clear to you guys? Does that work? So there we go. We have access to every single button and all of the doors. Now, one final order of business is this last arrow here that we were using to weigh stuff down. Thankfully, we've got kind of a crappy torch that we had almost burnt out. We can use, and we'll hit the buttons and be done. So that's pretty much the episode. We'll find a stairway on the far side. What I'm going to do between episodes here, guys, is head back to the vault. I won't leave any footage in of this, but I'll go back to the vault and I'll just drop off a bunch of stuff that we're not using anymore so that we can enter the next episode nice and fresh with a whole bunch of stuff. You'll see that right at the end of this floor, actually, we do get some amazing gear for Jonker. What I'm looking at here is just wondering if the trapdoor there, we can drop down maybe, and then it will take us into a room we haven't seen before, because it looks like it's slightly different. It doesn't line up, but we'll check that out in a second. You're going to see that the pyramid is designed insane. Because we're going up instead of down, the way that the trapdoors interact with floors you've already been on are amazing. But here, check it out, we get the pole axe! A mighty blow. It's got cleave as its special ability, just like our super powerful thing already. But look at the damage on it! 13 to 39, it's massive. Look, he does over 100 damage on a high swing on that now. That's crazy. And it's a two-handed weapon, but because he's maxed heavy weapons already, he gets to wield it in one hand. How fantastic is that? Anyway, here's the staircase up, and I guess I'll see you guys next time for the second floor of the pyramid. Thanks very much for watching. Catch you later, guys.